education personnel. To reach the goal of enhancing teachers and educational staff quality, SEAMEO has successfully established mutual collaboration and networking with other institutions nationally, regionally, and internationally. Staff capacity building activities are intended to increase the capability of SEAMEO staff. The last one is the Center Promotion and Publication, which proposes to increase public awareness toward SEAMEO.
Welcome to SEAMEO QITEP in Science, a center of professional excellence in the area of science teaching for teachers and educational personnel within the framework of sustainable development. Our mission is to provide relevant and quality programs in professional excellence for science teachers and educational personnel through capacity building activities, resource sharing, research and development, and networking. We are fully supported by 11 SEAMEO member countries through the appointment of governing board members. The center is currently assisted by 41 competent resources divided into 6 divisions.
SEAMEO offers various programs and activities, which are 1. Trainings 2. Workshop and seminars 3. Research grants 4. Hajar Dewantara Awards. Trainings were consisting of 1. Regular trainings 2. Customized trainings 3. Collaborative trainings. Regular training 1. The training course on Earth and Space Science 2. The training course on Environmental Education for Sustainable Development 3. The training course on Science Classroom Supervision. Customized training. In-country training. Those conducted in other SEAMEO member countries and in province of Indonesia. Collaborative trainings. Stellar STEM training, collaboration with ATSE, integrasi STEM dalam kurikulum 2013, collaboration with MOEC of Indonesia, P4TK IPA Bandung, and Bandung Education Department. Workshop and seminars. Science seminar, research dissemination seminar. Research grant. Grants for science teachers to conduct research with science learning as the main theme. Hajar Dewantara or KHD Award is an idea and initiative by SEAMEO QITEP in Science to honor and appreciate the science teachers who have dedicated their lives and effort to bring the teaching and learning process up to an excellent level. SEAMEO's achievements from 2009 until 2018 are 5,343 alumni, 47 regular trainings, 33 seminar and international conference, 31 staff capacity building activities, and 53 national and international networks.
In carrying out our mandate to improve science teachers and education personnel across the region, we will continue to improve the quality of our programs not only in science education but also acquiring the technology. Therefore, the teachers should possess skill and knowledge to educate their students in facing today's challenges.
Tes 1 2 3. Tes.
SEAMEO QITEP in Science, or SEAQIS, which is located in Bandung, was established in 2009. SEAQIS has successfully conducted many programs that are categorized into 3 program trusts, namely Professional Teacher Development, Learning Resource Development, and Professional Learning Communities. The 3 program trusts are elaborated into age categories of program, which are: training course is one of SEAQIS' responsibilities to increase the quality of teachers and education personnel. The trainings are divided into 3 categories, which are regular training courses, customized training courses, collaboration training courses. Workshops are intended to enhance and develop teachers, education personnel, as well as internal resources competencies related to science learning. International conference, seminars, and online lectures purpose is to disseminate best practice of science education. Science Research Grants has been awarded to best 30 research proposals of Indonesian science teachers and education personnel. To reach the goal of enhancing teachers and educational staff quality, SEAMEO has successfully established mutual collaboration and networking with other institutions nationally, regionally, and internationally. Staff capacity building activities are intended to increase the capability of SEAMEO staff. The last one is the Center Promotion and Publication, which proposes to increase public awareness toward SEAMEO.
Welcome to SEAMEO QITEP in Science, a center of professional excellence in the area of science teaching for teachers and educational personnel within the framework of sustainable development. Our mission is to provide relevant and quality programs in professional excellence for science teachers and education personnel through capacity building activities, resource sharing, research and development, and networking. We are fully supported by 11 SEAMEO member countries through the appointment of governing board members. The center is currently assisted by 41 competent resources divided into 6 divisions.
SEAMEO offers various programs and activities, which are 1. Trainings, 2. Workshop and seminars, 3. Research grants, 4. Hajar Dewantara Awards. Trainings were consisting of 1. Regular trainings, 2. Customized trainings, 3. Collaborative trainings. Regular training 1. The training course on Earth and Space Science. 2. The training course on Environmental Education for Sustainable Development. 3. The training course on Science Classroom Supervision. Customized training. In-country training. Those conducted in other SEAMEO member countries and in province of Indonesia. Collaborative trainings. Stellar STEM training, collaboration with ATSE. Integrasi STEM dalam kurikulum 2013, collaboration with MOEC of Indonesia, P4TK IPA Bandung, and Bandung Education Department. Workshop and seminars. Science seminar, research dissemination seminar. Research grant. Grants for science teachers to conduct research with science learning as the main theme. Hajar Dewantara or KHD Award is an idea and initiative by SEAMEO QITEP in Science to honor and appreciate the science teachers who have dedicated their lives and effort to bring the teaching and learning process up to an excellent level. SEAMEO's achievements from 2009 until 2018 are 5,343 alumni, 47 regular trainees, 33 seminar and international conference, 31 staff capacity building activities, and 53 national and international networks.
In carrying out our mandate to improve science teachers and education personnel across the region, we will continue to improve the quality of our programs not only in science education but also acquiring the technology. Therefore, the teachers should possess skill and knowledge to educate their students in facing today's challenges.
SEAMEO QITEP in Science, or SEAQIS, which is located in Bandung, was established in 2009. SEAQIS has successfully conducted many programs that are categorized into 3 program trusts, namely Professional Teacher Development, Learning Resource Development, and Professional Learning Communities. The 3 program trusts are elaborated into age categories of program, which are: training course is one of SEAQIS' responsibilities to increase the quality of teachers and education personnel. The trainings are divided into 3 categories, which are regular training courses, customized training courses, collaboration training courses. Workshops are intended to enhance and develop teachers, education personnel, as well as internal resources competencies related to science learning. International conference, seminars, and online lectures purpose is to disseminate best practice of science education. Science Research Grants has been awarded to best 30 research proposals of Indonesian science teachers and education personnel. To reach the goal of enhancing teachers and educational staff quality, SEAMEO has successfully established mutual collaboration and networking with other institutions nationally, regionally, and internationally. Staff capacity building activities are intended to increase the capability of SEAMEO staff. The last one is the Center Promotion and Publication, which proposes to increase public awareness toward SEAMEO.
Welcome to SEAMEO QITEP in Science, a center of professional excellence in the area of science teaching for teachers and educational personnel within the framework of sustainable development. Our mission is to provide relevant and quality programs in professional excellence for science teachers and education personnel through capacity building activities, resource searching, research and development, and networking. We are fully supported by 11 SEAMEO member countries through the appointment of governing board members. The center is currently assisted by 41 competent resources divided into 6 divisions.
SEAMEO offers various programs and activities, which are 1. Trainings, 2. Workshop and seminars, 3. Research grants, 4. Hajar Dewantara Awards. Trainings were consisting of 1. Regular trainings, 2. Customized trainings, 3. Collaborative trainings. Regular training 1. The training course on Earth and Space Science. 2. The training course on Environmental Education for Sustainable Development. 3. The training course on Science Classroom Supervision. Customized training. In-country training. Those conducted in other SEAMEO member countries and in province of Indonesia. Collaborative trainings. Stellar STEM training, collaboration with ATSE. Integrasi STEM dalam kurikulum 2013, collaboration with MOEC of Indonesia, P4TK IPA Bandung, and Bandung Education Department. Workshop and seminars. Science seminar, research dissemination seminar. Research grant. Grants for science teachers to conduct research with science learning as the main theme. Hajar Dewantara or KHD Award is an idea and initiative by SEAMEO QITEP in Science to to honor and appreciate the science teachers who have dedicated their lives and effort to bring the teaching and learning process up to an excellent level. SEAMEO's achievements from 2009 until 2018 are 5,343 alumni, 47 regular trainings, 33 seminar and international conference, 31 staff capacity building activities, and 53 national and international networks.
In carrying out our mandate to improve science teachers and education personnel across the region, we will continue to improve the quality of our programs not only in science education but also acquiring the technology. Therefore, the teachers should possess skill and knowledge to educate their students in facing today's challenges.
SEAMEO QITEP in Science, or SEAQIS, which is located in Bandung, was established in 2009. SEAQIS has successfully conducted many programs that are categorized into 3 program trusts, namely Professional Teacher Development, Learning Resource Development, and Professional Learning Communities. The 3 program trusts are elaborated into age categories of program, which are: training course is one of SEAQIS' responsibilities to increase the quality of teachers and education personnel. The trainings are divided into 3 categories, which are regular training courses, customized training courses, collaboration training courses. Workshops are intended to enhance and develop teachers, education personnel, as well as internal resources competencies related to science learning. International conference, seminars, and online lectures purpose is to disseminate best practice of science education. been awarded to best 30 research proposals of Indonesian science teachers and education personnel. To reach the goal of enhancing teachers and educational staff quality, SEAMEO has successfully established mutual collaboration and networking with other institutions nationally, regionally, and internationally. Staff capacity building activities are intended to increase the capability of SEAMEO staff. The last one is the Center Promotion and Publication, which proposes to increase public awareness toward SEAMEO.
Welcome to SEAMEO QITEP in Science, a center of professional excellence in the area of science teaching for teachers and educational personnel within the framework of sustainable development. Our mission is to provide relevant and quality programs in professional excellence for science teachers and educational personnel through capacity building activities, resource sharing, research and development, and networking. We are fully supported by 11 SEAMEO member countries through the appointment of governing board members. The center is currently assisted by 41 competent resources divided into 6 divisions.
SEAMEO offers various programs and activities, which are 1. Trainings, 2. Workshop and seminars, 3. Research grants, 4. Hajar Dewantara Awards. Trainings were consisting of 1. Regular trainings, 2. Customized trainings, 3. Collaborative trainings. Regular training 1. The training course on Earth and Space Science. 2. The training course on Environmental Education for Sustainable Development. 3. The training course on Science Classroom Supervision. Customized training. In-country training. Those conducted in other SEAMEO member countries and in province of Indonesia. Collaborative trainings. Stellar STEM training, collaboration with ATSE. Integrasi STEM dalam kurikulum 2013, collaboration with MOEC of Indonesia, P4TK IPA Bandung, and Bandung Education Department. Workshop and seminars. Science seminar, research dissemination seminar. Research grant. Grants for science teachers to conduct research with science learning as the main theme. Hajar Dewantara, or KHD Award, is an idea and initiative by SEAMEO QITEP in Science to honor and appreciate the science teachers who have dedicated their lives and effort to bring the teaching and learning process up to an excellent level. SEAMEO's achievements from 2009 until 2018 are 5,343 alumni,
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to SEAMEO QITEP in Science webinar series on science teaching, learning innovations in the new normal. Lesson learned from Southeast Asian countries. Today's webinar is the fourth series of the webinar. This webinar is SEAMEO QITEP in Science initiative to provide teachers and education personnel with innovations and best practices in science educations that can be implemented in teaching and learning activities in the new normal. Dear participants, let's move to the first agenda of this webinar, which is opening remarks by Dr. Indrawati, the Director of SEAMEO QITEP in Science. SEAMEO QITEP in Science initiative to provide teachers and education personnel with innovations and best practices in science education.
Honorable resource persons, all participants of the webinars, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning. Praise to God, the Almighty and the Most Merciful. It gives me a great pleasure to extend to you all a very warm welcome at the webinar series on teaching and learning innovation in the new normal. Lesson learned from Southeast Asia, which will be conducted from 24 June to 22nd of July 2020. This webinar is an initiative of SEAMEO QITEP in Science to provide a forum for science teachers and educational personnel to exchange best practices in conducting innovative science teaching and learning during this pandemic era. Many people have discussed about the new normal in society as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to spread in countries around the world. In education sector, teaching and learning activities in the new normal faces many challenges. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, almost no one predicted that education will significantly change in a very short time. In Southeast Asia countries, the government are still introducing the implementation of technology and internet in teaching and learning activities. Teachers and education personnel is on the adaptation process of implementing this technology and internet in their classroom activities. Students who are believed more familiar with digitalization are still trying to understand how to use this media, which they recognize before as media to play a game. Parents are not ready to become teachers on their own children when their children learn from home. In addition, schools and public do not have proper infrastructure to support online learning. This transition period pressures us to accelerate the adaptation of technology and internet in education. As the Minister of Education and Culture of Indonesia, their own children, when their children learn from Excellency Nadiem Makarim said, currently, we are not able to provide ideal teaching and learning activities for students since we are still trying to adapt the use of technology and education. But this adaptation is a great investment for future education. However, we will always find challenges in every changes. The most important thing that we have to understand is that utilizing technology and internet in teaching and learning is not only transferring classroom activities into online learning. We need to use different approaches. There are dynamics working in face-to-face interaction, but they are not applicable in online learning. Furthermore, in online learning, we need to pay more attention on student privacy, security, and well-being. There are many digital threats when we use online platforms such as Zoom bombing and cyberbullying. We need to protect them from these threats. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, education in the new normal is not only about the transition of face-to-face learning and teaching activities into online learning. Today, there is a plan to conduct teaching and learning activities at school in the new normal era. The first step that we have to do is to ensure that all school communities are ready to go back to school. We must prioritize student, teachers, and education personnel health and safety when teaching and learning activities are conducted at school. This is a huge challenge for teachers to ensure that the teaching and learning activities can develop student skills, but without putting their health and safety in danger. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in this webinar, we have invited prominent experts in education and leading teachers from Southeast Asia who will share their ideas and best practices, which can be references for teachers and education personnel in conducting teaching and learning in the new normal. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to conclude this remark, let me express my sincerest wish that all participants of this webinar can gain important information and knowledge presented by the resource persons and implement them in student learning activities. Lastly, I do hope that you, your families, and your colleagues are always in good health. For the further delay, it is now my pleasure to declare that the webinar series on science teaching and learning innovation, lesson learned from Southeast Asia, is officially open. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Indrawati. Okay. Dear participants, before we start the speakers' presentations, I would like to inform important information regarding this webinar. So today, there will be 3 speakers who will share their knowledge about science teaching and learning in the new normal. The speakers consist of leading teachers from Southeast Asia and an expert in science education. Each presenter will have 30 minutes for presentations and 15 minutes for discussion session. The discussion sessions will be after each speaker's presentations. To ask questions during the discussion sessions, For participants who join this webinar on Zoom, you can type your questions on the Q&A box on the Zoom application. We will invite one or two selected participants to directly ask questions to the speakers, while other selected questions will be read by moderator. And then for participants who join this webinar on YouTube, please type your questions on YouTube chat box. I will read selected questions from the participants. And then to indicate your attendance, for participants who join this webinar on Zoom, you can fill in online attendance form at our course information system. I repeat again, for participants who join this webinar on Zoom, you can fill in online attendance form at our course information system. For participants who join this webinar on YouTube, we will provide Google Form for the attendance form. The links of the attendance forms will be shared at the end of this webinar. So I suggest you keep joining this webinar until the end. Okay, everyone. Now we will move to the first speaker's presentations. Our first speaker is Mr. Agus Fani Chandra Wijaya from Indonesia. Please allow me to introduce our first speaker. So I suggest you keep joining this webinar until the end. Okay. Now we will move to the first speaker's presentation. Mr. Agus Fani Chandra Wijaya, born in Karawang, Indonesia, 12 August 1981. And he is a lecturer in Indonesia at University of Education. He has Master of Science Education at Indonesia University of Education. And his specializations is Science Education, Earth and Space Science. He is a member of the Asian Network to promote teacher educations on ESD. And then he is a speaker in national and international conference as well. Published papers in national and international journal and resource persons of trainings conducted by SEAMEO QITEP in Science. Now, let's start our first speaker's presentations. Mr. Agus, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. So it's an honor to me to have this opportunity to share my experience and what we call as a new normal era. But now in this opportunity, actually, I would like to propose some other name about this pandemic era, which is accelerated normal. So allow me to share this presentation, and thank you very much for your coming here. And I hope you can get something new here, and we can discuss more about what is the new normal, what is an accelerated normal. So what should we do in the teaching and learning from home era now? So myself, Agus Fani, I'm a lecturer of Indonesia University of Education, and you can touch with me with the email on agus.fany@up.edu. So as we know, nowadays we already on the special condition. Why we call it a special? Because we know that we're forced by this situation to teach, to learn from home. We cannot go to school as usual. We cannot face-to-face interact with our students, with our pupils. This is the new things. This is the new situation. And as we know that a lot of organizations try to have a surveys, send a questionnaires to a lot of people, teachers, students, and also the parents, what their perspective about this condition. So according to the Republic of Indonesia Teachers Association, they have some a survey around March to April, around March to May, they find that a really interesting fact. And also the Ministry of Women and Children Protection and Empowerment, they also expose some findings that, interestingly, the students, they think that should be at home now because of this situation. So, but the most important thing is about how the parents also agree with it. Uh-huh. And then the parents see that the this distant learning should be delivered by this situation. And then also they agree that it's already uh, in a good way that this delivery, this distance learning occur this situation. But in the other hand, as we can see here, students say that they didn't really happy with this condition. Yeah, almost half of the students say that it's not really interesting to enjoy this distance learning interaction, while the teachers also say that it's almost half of the teacher of our teacher said it's not really ready for this situation. So what happened with this condition? And then we can also that the policy of the Ministry of Education and Culture say that okay, to handle this situation, we can see that forget about the curriculum for a while. Let's deliver the meaningful learning. It's not about what you have to finish with the curriculum, but it's how you can make a meaning of this learning interaction. So we can use the uh, around this pandemic COVID-19, we can see the skills we can deliver in this learning interaction. But still, we have to concern about how the accessibility and the facility the student have at home while they have to learn at home. So this is the policy of the Ministry of Education and Culture in Indonesia. So through that situation, I interested to find some what happened here and what should we do here. So I do some research with the case study research and with the convenience sampling. I asked my colleagues, my teachers, fellows, 43 teacher fellows from three different levels from the elementary school, junior secondary school, and also senior secondary school teachers, spread it from five different areas, which is from three from Indonesia. It's in they come from the eastern region, the central region, and also the western region. And I also have some fellows from SIKK or Sekolah Indonesia Kota Kinabalu, which is in Malaysia, and also Sekolah Indonesia Davao in Philippines. So uh, this is a really nice communication with them. So I do this research around the March to July 2020. So as we can see now, we say this is a normal thing. This situation, this is a normal thing. This is the old normal or new normal. Or it's actually it's a next normal. I don't know what which kind of normal is. But based on this evidence that I can found, the regulation of Ministry of Education and Culture number 119 in 2014, concerning the distant learning system in elementary school and the secondary school systems in the level. In Article 8, they say that actually you can deliver the learning activities not only in the face-to-face, but also we can use the distance learning. And the principle of the distance learning here, as we can see, they state four different characteristics. Okay, but I want to emphasize the C part here. because they state that in the distance learning, teaching and learning media is the main source. It should be dominant to be the teacher deliver the learning material. Okay, so we can see that in the distance learning that we do now, which is teaching and learning from home, the media should be the main source. Okay, it has to be dominant. It should be dominant in this teaching and learning interaction. While in also in another regulation, the Ministry of Education and Culture Regulation number 158, it's the same years. I emphasizing the years. It's 2014, which is 6 years ago. We already state about this now. That's what we do. Yeah. So in this 158 regulation, it states that the media, the interaction should be packed as a unit. It's an integrated unit. So the media should be an integrated unit. So this is the basic of what we do here nowadays. So actually, when we call it, is this the new normal or this is the next normal? Actually, it's 6 years ago. Our regulation in education state that we can be use this kind of interaction in our learning, teaching and learning activities. So I would like to propose that the teaching and learning media is a package. That's the point of the teaching and learning activities from home. And also, actually, it can be happen when the classical interaction in the classroom. But now we have to know that the media for the teaching and learning is not only the media itself. For example, it's not only a things, not only a tools or the technology that we use, but the media itself should be embedded with the information and the knowledge and how we can deliver it in the teaching and learning interaction. So it's a package of the teaching and learning media. Okay, so this is the important basic thing that we should know, that we not only think that the application or social media or the learning management system is a teaching and learning media. Let me give you an example. As we know that this is the things, plants is a things. Plants could be a media for the biological content, for example. WhatsApp, it's a technology, it's a media also. And you can see here, can you recognize what kind of this application? Okay, so this is the Google Lens. Google Lens application. So this is the technology. This is also we can use as a tools. But what you can deliver with these tools? Okay, so it's just only a media. It's just only a tools. When it's just we're using WhatsApp every day to deliver some messages. But what if we can send an information to our teacher, sorry, to our student, to our pupils? For example, we can see that we need to deliver the information about the leaf shapes, pattern on the plants, and what is correction between the type of root that they have. That's the information that we are going to deliver to the students. And then we ask the student to explore the plants with the Google Lens, because in the Google Lens they have a artificial intelligence that augmented reality that they can use, that they can recognize. So when we take a picture of the leaves, they will show us what kind of plants is that, and then what the characteristic, what is the root system, and everything that you can see online. Okay. After that, they can share their finding through the WhatsApp with their friends, with their colleagues, so that they will find something new we want to deliver the information or the knowledge about what about the leaf shape, pattern, and the type of roots through this media. So if we see these things, tools, or technology by itself, it's not a media for the teaching and learning. It's just a media. But when we embed it with this information and knowledge, and also the teaching and learning interaction, we can find this as a pack. So this is the most important thing, that when we uh, develop the teaching and learning media. So this is my findings. So according to this interview with my colleagues, with my teacher fellows, that the media they use along this teaching and learning from home as condition, they use some of the real object. Then a lot of the real object handmade by the students by itself, with the local local object that they can find around their house. And then they also show me they use the book, and they also some of them made up some student activities. And also they show me about the media, digital media, uh, which is a portable. Portable means that they no need an internet access to run this application, while the online application they can use as Google Lens, and also WhatsApp as a non-learning management system online technologies that they use as a media. And they also, as you know, we have the Kelas Maya in Rumah Belajar that made up our Ministry of Education and Culture. It's actually similar with the Google Classroom or the Edmodo learning management system. So this is the things, tools, and technology as a media that the student choose to deliver their teaching and learning activities from home. And while in the teaching and learning media component of information and knowledge, as we know, a lot of teachers and in my finding, commonly they deliver a lot of content of information and knowledge that the student should cope with their learning activities at home. While there also some of them send behavioral information and knowledge that the student need to find, they need to experience. For example, in this pandemic era, they try to make a simple hand sanitizer, and then they share it with their neighbor, or they share it with their friends, and a lot of things. So this is about the behavior, and also about the skills. Some of the teacher ask the student to do some experiments, the simple experiment that they can do at home. While in the teaching and learning interaction component, I find two different aspects of this teaching and learning interaction, which are the offline interaction, which mean this offline interaction, they not need any network to do the tasks. But there are two different offline tasks, which is the unaccompanied or independently they work by themselves, and accompanied, which means they need some adult supervision, for example, their siblings or their brother or sisters, or their parents. So there are two different tasks of offline tasks. While the online interaction, somehow the offline task is connected with the online. So the task sent by the online, which can be a synchronous interaction or an asynchronous interaction. Synchronous interaction means that uh, the teacher and the students can meet together. They can do some face-to-face or talk to each other directly. That's why we call it asynchronous interaction. While the asynchronous interaction, which means they can send a message with the social media or email, but they cannot interact directly with to each other. So in the asynchronous interaction, in the online teaching and learning interaction, there are two different uh, type. The first one is the strong notified, which means that as for example, the asynchronous strong notified is just like we interact in a WhatsApp line, that we can send it directly, and then we can have the notification that someone or someone sent us the message that we have to uh, respond immediately. So while the week notified, which means it's a little bit hard to find out that are they already send the message, or are they already give a response through our interaction. This kind of weak notification, or such as uh, email, or maybe some of you use the Facebook not online every time. So it's such kind of the weak notification or weak notified interaction. While the synchronous interaction, we can find three different interaction. That's one to many interaction, which means just like some of teacher, interestingly, they use um, live Instagram through the through the Facebook to teach some to deliver some teaching and learning materials. In this interaction, it's only one to many, which means the teacher can be talk, but the student cannot be respond directly to talk with the teacher, just using the chat box or something like that. And then the other one is one to groups interaction, which means it uh, just like in Zoom or Google Meet, they use. It's also kind of many to many interaction. While the synchronous and asynchronous can be delivered in the systemic integrated or non-systemically integrated, which is the LMS or non-LMS or learning management system interaction. So this is my finding. Uh, it's really interesting to find this finding because based on the type of media, 70% of the teacher put the book, BNI means a book and internet, as the media to engage the student for the task. Okay. But interestingly, the student easily engage and easily achieve what the information on it, not in the book and internet, but it's in the module with the book, which means the teachers provide another resource to the students, such as the student sheet, activity sheets, and then they use the internet to deliver it, and the student can find some information in the book. But here in book, radio, and television, which mean in our country we use also the TVRI or Indonesian Republic of Indonesian Television, and also radio to deliver the material. It's not really easily to engage and to achieve the student um, achievement. Okay, while in the interaction platform that use in these activities, a lot of tendency that the teachers use the content orientation platform to deliver the material, while the process it's only this small number of it. Interestingly, the process here give us easy way to student to achieve their the information. Okay, while the content is not easily, it's the tendency is moderate to to achieve the information. The student achieve the information. While when we see the internet platform characteristic, which mean they use the LMS or learning management system and social media, email, and education application, a lot of the teacher choose the social media, which is a familiarity of it because it's familiar for the teacher, familiar for the students also, and it's easily to interact and easily to deliver the communication. And the finding is that yes, it is. The social media, it's easily can engage the students to uh, interact, to give some, find some achievement here. While the LMS, somehow, it's also a little bit uh, moderate to easy to use. So we can still use this one. But in email, it's not really recommended to use in this teaching and learning activity, which means we need another supporting system if we want to use the email. And if we see about the task instruction that they use, the task instruction means here that how the teacher send the instruction of the task. For example, they use the WhatsApp to do some to send the task to the student. For example, what is the DOR direct order means that student, please open the book page 26 and then do some uh, answer the question of the 26 pages until to 30 page. So that's a direct order. There is nothing scaffolding to send to to the student what they should do, how they find it, how to deliver it. So commonly they use the direct order. But amazingly, according to the finding, the student engage more effectively when we send the instruction through the single student activity sheets or the project activity sheets. They really easily to engage, which means they easily to do and then to respond, to give some response, to send back the result to the teacher. Okay, so that's why that's the what I call as the easily uh, part here. Okay, while the direct order is hardly to find because they somehow they clueless to do the task. What should I do? What should I find this from? And then what about the interaction here? The this is the interaction. Sorry, the task collection period. So somehow some of the teacher send daily or every day they send a task to the student to do, and then uh, some of them, most of them use weekly period, but small of them choose the monthly period of task collection. And the result here, the weekly task um, period is easily to engage and send the information to the students. While the daily is not really recommended to do because it's hardly engage the student. Somehow the student is not really enjoy. It's interesting. They not really enjoy to do some job daily, just like at school. I don't know. Maybe it's different condition in the at home. While the teacher accompany period, which means the teacher provide the face-to-face interaction with the students with Zoom or Google Meet or WhatsApp video group call. There are no daily interaction. No teacher scheduled daily interaction. Most of them use the weekly interaction. Small of them use the monthly interaction, which means only one times to do the interaction with the students. And interesting here, the engagement of the student and they achieve the information most easily when it's done by weekly interaction, while the monthly interaction it's not really uh, good. It's a moderate one, and this is what they obstacle that they find. A lot of them find a schedule, which means yeah, yeah, I think we all of us also find this situation. We are hardly to find the schedule in our home to do some chores at home or do some job to teach the students. So this is the schedule is also, and the activities is how they can develop the activities, the interactive activities. It's also an obstacle for for the teachers. While the package and data package and network, the network somehow it's also an obstacle, the moderate obstacle. While the data package and the gadget is also is a small positive. While the familiarity, which means I think we are already familiar with all the technology now. So this is the mm, sorry. So this is the recommendation that I would like to come up with. So when we develop the teaching and learning media from home, we have to emphasizing the media component. So how we can made up the module, some teaching material that we can send to the student as a scaffolding, that a systematic scaffolding to support the online and offline interaction. So somehow we cannot give the student a way to, okay, do some chores or do some task with your own way, but we need the module, we need to give a scaffolding to them. And also about the information and knowledge, please find the process and behavioral orientation to support the development of the contents, not the content as on the other way around. While the interaction, the project and experiment tasks with weekly accompaniment, it's recommended to choose as the interaction component. Here, we also need to consider about the gadget, the network schedule, and also the familiarity when we develop this teaching and learning from home mode. So back to what is normal actually. Normal is conforming or adapting to the standard common of type of the situation. We are, as we know, that regulation of the Ministry of Education said this is the normal thing that we have to do. But now, recently, we haven't do that. But now we force, as the Newton laws, we know that before pandemic, we are see that the distance learning is something that really hard to do. But now we forced by the pandemic, so we accelerate, right? And then we hope after this pandemic, we will have the reaction from this our action. So we are forced for this situation. We have to take the school, the material, the world itself, the teachers with all of our technology. We are in the web of 21st century and industry 4.0, and we need to think about the sustainability development in education also. So which one, new normal or accelerated normal? I think it's no matter which world you choose. The most important thing is what kind of contribution you can make, right? Now we are in a pandemic era. We try to find something new. We accelerate. We try to move to reach the normal. Yeah. So I would like to thanks to the SEAMEO QITEP in Science for Dr. Indrawati, Mr. Reza as a director and the vice director, and also all the team, and Indonesia University of Education, and also Junior Secondary School Directorate of the Ministry of Education and Culture, Sekolah Indonesia Kota Kinabalu, Sekolah Indonesia Davao, and all fellows of teachers. So thank you very much. That's my presentation, and I would like to have some question or suggestion. Thank you very much. I'll give it back to the moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Agus, for the presentations with very inspiring personal insights. I do agree with what Mr. Agus said. Skills can be delivered in this area, not only about the content, but skills is more important. And then for learning at home, the role of the media should be dominant. Media is not only tools or technology, it should consist of informations and knowledge and consist of interactions as well. So we can deliver the materials through this maximizing the role of the media. And yes, we have several questions, Mr. Agus. Then I will read one by one. So this is the questions from Fanden Borella. I think it's from Philippines. The questions is, since doing an experiment is the heart of science, how the assessment of performing an experiment will be done in online class? I think that's the first questions first, Mr. Agus. So you can answer it directly.
Okay, so to evaluate, the experiment. Okay, thank you very much. Excuse me, what is her name?
The name is Fanden Borella.
Fanden. Okay.
Yeah, Fanden
So,
Borella.
salamat po. This is this is a nice question. It's about the experiment. Yeah, we cannot do the experiment. We cannot do the teaching and learning activity without experiment. That's the basic of the science, right? So how to evaluate it? Yeah, a lot of things that as in my experience through this research, one of the teacher do some interesting idea. So they ask the students, which is has the connection with the network, with the internet. They ask the student to do some experiment and then upload it into the YouTube, or some of them save it in the Google Drive, so that the students, the teacher can deliver they can evaluate the experiment thing. And the second thing, they can also do some in a group. One of the teacher asked the student to do presentation with the PowerPoint, but in the PowerPoint they develop by the group. Each slide of the PowerPoint is enriched with the audio and also the video, and send it to the teachers through the email. So it's some such kind of the experience how to evaluate the experiment itself in this pandemic era. Somehow, once again, it's not easy, but it can do. We can do it. So I think that's about how we can evaluate the skills, right? While the content or the knowledge, we can ask the student to do some evaluation through the quizzes or something else. I think that's my answer. I hope it will be enough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the answers, Mr. Agus. Now for the second questions, it's from Jerry Tamayo. Okay, the questions is, we know the fact that science is mostly performing experiments. I think this is for experiments as well. So as the students understand, apply and appreciate the concept. Personally, I foresee that it is somewhat difficult for the students to carry out a certain experiment without the close supervisions of the teacher. So relative to this, how can we still make engaging and enjoyable teaching science to our learners digitally? So I repeat again, how can we still make engaging and enjoyable teaching science to our learners digitally? That's the second question. Mr. Agus, can you unmute first? I think it's still mute your microphone.
Sorry, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for Mr. Jerry. That this is the hard point of this this teaching and learning interaction from home. Somehow, yes, to engage the student, enjoy the. I think they already enjoy the digital experience, but once again, digital experience is not only about the they use the technology, okay, But yeah, some of the students like to do some games at the um, their Android, their phone. We can use that perspective, so we can support them with the for example, there's a lot of the education application that they can use to do some games. For example, the solar system scope is a really interesting application, and it's a portable, which means they don't need any network to run the application. We can make some module, just like an um, student activity sheet. So, for example, in the solar system scope application, they can find a lot of information about what is in each planet's characteristic. And then we ask them to characterize, to make a group of the planet based on the characterization. So we can make some games through the student activity sheet. That's what I found in this research. So I think they have, I think they need the time. That's what we have to do. They give them enough time to do some task. Okay, so not immediate time. So just give them to enjoy the task. And then the second one, we can give some scaffolding through the uh, student activity sheet, and then after that give some response to that. So that those three steps I think we need to do. So find their interests, and then give some scaffolding and respond to that respond of to their job, to their work. So that's my answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Agus. I think this is the last questions for you. Now I think it's I think this is from Indonesia. It's about the regulations of, maybe you know some informations about in Indonesia. We have regulations about PJJ, or pembelajaran jarak jauh, teaching and learning from home using SKS platform. Is it means that government encourage us to perform that in new school academic year? So I think it's one of the media that government provide. Is it? I think maybe you know some information, Mr. Agus, about this.
Okay, thank you. Can I know that who's come with this question? The name
Sorry.
of the.
Sorry, the name is Vera Maulidia, I think. So
Okay, Bu Vera, thank you very much for the questions. Yes, we have this regulation since 2014. Amazingly, yeah. Nowadays, I do some work with the um, Ministry of Education, especially in the secondary school directorate. I do some things with the sekolah terbuka, okay, SMP terbuka, which means the open secondary school. In nowadays, as we can see that Mas Menteri, or our as a minister, say that it could be permanent to do this distance learning interaction. It should be, yes, in the regulation, uh, in the regulation say that even though we cannot do all the subject in online learning, but we can deliver some of the material into online interaction. Yes, we can do um, according to the regulation, right? The Ministry of Education and Culture Regulation number 199 2014 say that you can deliver the some of the subject through the distance learning activities. So yes, we can do it, even though it's not a pandemic, but you cannot do all the things because the all of the subject. Yeah, only several subject that you can deliver. But maybe someday near into the future, we will do some. We will have some regulation of it. While the SKS or the credit hour systems in elementary and secondary school system level, it's also can do by all the school. Okay, so yes, we are heading to that condition. Okay, so are you ready? Are we ready to this condition? Because without any regulation itself also, we have to move through that way. Okay, so we have to somehow we have to, thanks to this condition, it forces us and it accelerates us to do some change. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer, Mr. Agus. And unfortunately, this is the last questions for the session. Thank you for your sharing with us, Mr. Agus. And I do hope we can meet again at another webinar or another activity in SEAMEO QITEP in Science. Really wonderful sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. Salamat po, sawadika. Terima kasih. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Now, dear participants, now let's move to the second speaker. Our second speaker is Mr. Koh Chang from Singapore. Okay, now let me introduce first our second speaker. Mr. Koh, born in Singapore, 17 September 1967. And now he is a lead teacher at Victoria School, Singapore. And he graduated from Bachelor of Science, National University of Singapore, and his specializations is physics. In 2013 to 2018, he was speakers at national and international forums or conferences, and in 2018 at 18th consecutive gold for UOPA by CCA and PCC. And he is the first winner or the first place of the second Hajar Dewantara Award by SEAMEO QITEP in Science. Okay, now let's start our second speaker's presentations. Mr. Koh, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. I try to share the screen. Can you see the screen?
Not yet.
Okay, how about now?
Okay.
Can see now?
Still waiting, I think.
It's coming, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's wait. Is it there now?
Not yet, maybe.
Not yet. Okay, I'll try again.
Okay.
I'll try to share.
Can you repeat?
I'll try to share again. Okay. Is it better?
Yeah, now you are.
Okay.
You're,
okay, yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, please.
Okay, let's start. Okay, good morning, distinguished guests and fellow science teachers from Southeast Asia. I'm Chikiang, as been introduced. I'm a physics teacher in Victoria School, like most of you, a science teacher. Firstly, I would thank SEAMEO, QITEP in Science for the invitation to share on something very real, something that is everyday now, how educators, we innovate in the new normal. So as we go around teaching and then we face problems, we try to overcome it. The step to overcoming it is an innovative one because it's something new. We have not done this before. So for start, I'd like to share on the objectives, okay, of teaching physics. So my focus is physics, but you can draw parallel to other subjects in science, okay, in my school. Okay. Okay, we believe in fostering joy of learning in students, okay, make them find it meaningful and engaging. And hopefully this would help them to become engaged and lifelong learners. The scope of my sharings are three areas. First is challenges and opportunities in this new normal. And a touch on some of my school's physics informal and formal instructional program. And then how the COVID-19 has compelled us to do some adjustments and redesign to the way we conduct our lessons online and offline in school. Challenges. The COVID-19 has a big impact on how we teach due to the need to lock down, like many cities, and safe distancing in school. The challenges we face are, firstly, can we continue to foster the joy of learning? Can the lessons support social and emotional needs of the students? Can the lessons afford communication, collaboration, and information skills that they can have it in school before COVID? Can the lessons still nurture students' mindset to be lifelong learner? And lastly, can assessment for learning and differentiation instructions take place in home-based learning? Okay, where there are challenges, a famous saying is that there will be opportunities. Financial world, education world should be likewise. So what we can do, I believe, is when we redesign existing learning, we can try to afford, okay, build in some communication, collaboration, AFL and DI. When we introduce blended or full online learning, okay, we can try to infuse ICT, which I believe is taking place in most schools everywhere. And the methodology that we adopt could empower students to have some ownership of their learning. And because of that, I believe there will be more self-directed learners. And we can also incorporate activities that learners like to do, for example, games, things that thrills them, to motivate them intrinsically and thus foster the love of learning. And lastly, I think through doing all the above, we hope the students will become engaged lifelong learners. Now, next, I'll cover the informal instructional program. Our Sec 1 students are exposed to block programming. They also can take up drone flying elective in Sec 1. For Sec 2 and Sec 3 students, they can sign up for Arduino elective to help them acquire programming, electronics, and robotic skills. We encourage our students to stretch their abilities, especially in STEM-related competitions, as listed. Now I will cover a bit of our formal instructional program that takes place during a curriculum time. For Sec 1 students, we get them to work in groups to research, design, and build bridges to withstand weights. The Sec 2 students, they are tasked to do research on real-world issues and present them. The Sec 3 students, they are to work in groups to make prototype to demonstrate physics phenomenon. And also, they will do fountain board activities, which will help them make the learning more visible to everybody and themselves. And lastly, our secondary 4 students, they work in group to do research, collaborate, build prototypes, design them on the way, and to solve real-world problems. And also, we get our Sec 3 and Sec 4 students to work collaboratively and investigate and present using whiteboarding as a learning process. Whiteboarding maybe is new to some, but it's actually an old concept. It's a collaboration tool, process where students will work together and then they will present their answers, solutions to the rest of the class. And the classmates will act as peers where they will provide feedback. And this will make everybody very clear about each other's thinking. Now I'll cover the adjustment and redesign due to COVID. During lessons in school, I believe everybody are experiencing something similar, but I just share from my perspective. The use of masks is very discomforting and make communication very difficult for students, and especially for teachers. Though we do use things like microphone, wireless or wired, it helps in our voice projection, but it's very difficult for us to hear the students because their voice are muffled by the mask. And as teachers, we have to constantly check on our students to see that they are well and along during the lessons, so that create interruptions. Okay, we teach, then we check on them, see they're okay or not. And the students do wipe down the tabletop, and we do temperature taking daily. Okay, this is necessary. It's a must do, but then curriculum time is taken. And the need for safe distancing affects group work. Okay, can't really have very close group work, and then our lesson delivery will not be the same as before. Now, adjustment to informal program. Okay. As you can see, our Sec 1 block programming and Arduino elective luckily were completed before the COVID. Our drone flying elective is scheduled at the end of the year, so it's somewhere in October. So hopefully by then, the COVID is over. Let's be prayerful and hopeful. As for the STEM competitions, quite a few are postponed. Okay, namely those that need students to be present, to interact, to compete. Okay, with the items and so on. So things like the Nanyang Polytechnic Aero Challenge, Nanyang Polytechnic Science and Technology Challenge, they can't carry out, I believe. But hopefully by September, it can be carried out, because my students really love the challenge by NY and by Nanyang Poly. And for others, like competitions, like the East Zone A-Star Science Fair and the ACJC Science Teens Challenge, this can be done online, okay? Because it's presentations of the research. So that's why some of this has become online, like the SJPO, the Singapore Junior Physics Olympiad. So as for the formal program, our Sec 1, Sec 2, and 3 assignments or projects were already completed. Okay. The Sec 3 fountain board activities is scheduled in August, and believe we can carry out with some tweaking to the way we carry out with safe distancing. And for the Sec 4 students, it's still a work in progress. They are still doing their research and designing the prototype, the smart device. Now, for students working on prototypes, we require them to sanitize their hands before touching it, so as to minimize the risk of any transmission. Okay, now come to the home-based learning and the issues that one may encounter. So in Singapore, we have home-based learning for 4 continuous weeks, okay, followed by 2 more alternate weeks, meaning the student come back on 1 week, they go back home for HBL, the 3rd week they're back in school, and the last week they're at home, followed by coming to school since then. Now, in conducting HBL, time is needed to monitor the students' readiness and attendance before we can start the lessons. So this again takes time. We need to adjust to that. And some students have difficulty attending the lessons as they share the only home online device with parents and siblings. I believe it's not new to my students. I think it's can be quite common in most homes where there are only 1 or 2 online devices. As teachers, I'm also concerned how I'm going to mark their work. Okay? And of course, as science teachers, we would like to do science class demonstrations and practical. I'm also wary of the difficulty to incorporate assessment for learning and differentiation instructions in the home-based learning. Okay? And how the HBL home-based learning can affect the social, emotional mindset and the joy of learning of our students. I will now share on the redesign for a few of my lessons. One is my Sec 2 home-based learning on reflection of light. Now, prior to my lessons with the students on this topic, I will assign them flip material through a student learning space, which is in short called SLS. It's an online learning portal, okay, for their pre-reading and exploration. It's a kind of asynchronous kind of learning where they will explore first, then be followed by a Google Meet lessons, which are basically use PowerPoint like now I'm doing, with applet demonstrations. And after the lesson, the students will then do their homework, assignment, and they can submit it through Google Classroom for marking. And along the way, I can use the SLS as to monitor the students' progress. And on the next lesson, the second lesson with them, the synchronous one, I will go through the assignment, focusing on selected questions, okay, which they have most problem on to clarify the concepts and how to answer the questions. I will use the Google Meet platform aided by a stylus pen to help me in explanation. Later, I'll show you examples. Okay, the examples show students' assignment, which I received via Google Classroom, and I'm able to mark them using tools like Tummy, and then revert back to the students. Okay. Then for my Sec 4 home-based learning lesson, the approach is similar too. Now I will take you through. Okay. I will use the SLS to assign material for them to read. Then I will do the Google Meet, the PowerPoint, and some applets. Then Google Classroom, where they will submit the homework. And I'll use SLS to monitor, plus second synchronous lesson to go through the worksheet questions using stylus pen as explained earlier. Now, The examples show assignments, practice examples, which I would go through with them. I did go through with them. So I find the stylus pen very helpful as I can explain and comment, just like a classroom board. Then they can learn without even seeing my face that actually this is how this should solve a problem or approach a questions. Now we also redesign our whiteboarding activities mentioned in earlier slide. We employ the SLS and Google Meet. You can even use Zoom with video to afford the features of whiteboarding. So we try to have the features created using online, okay, when the students are not physically together. Students will work in groups. They log into the SLS, and where they interact each other, collaborate to answer questions, and then craft their presentations. Lastly, the various groups will present to the whole class, and then peer feedback by other members of the classmates can be presented to the presenters. And the teachers like myself can be the facilitator for the whole Meet session, like what we are doing now. Okay, if HBL is a long-term one, a few months, I would say it's a long-term, right? Then science practical cannot be neglected and should be incorporated into HBL. So I have some suggestions. So we can use Google Meet to explain the practical to the students, like we do in real time in classroom. And we can actually video the footage. We can use VR 360 to video it and then embed it in SLS or any online system for students to watch it. Okay. You can also use applets and virtual reality lab to simulate doing an experiment. It's a bit high-tech VR lab, but it's possible technically speaking. And students can actually not do the experiment, but they can still improve the other skills, practical skills. Example, recording of observations, tabulations, graph plotting, interpretation of the graph, and then maybe precautions and so on. They can still do that at home. And students can submit their work maybe in PDF format, and then the teachers can provide feedback. Now, COVID has also affected other aspects of school. For example, external, internal trainings, seminars, okay, are now online. Staff meetings, department meetings, committee meetings used to take place in person are now online too. Then even between colleagues, we had to keep a 1 meter distance. And with the mask, it's quite difficult, but what to do, right? And even CCA interviews, open house are now online everywhere. Yeah. So my students really miss school. I asked them, and they miss the interaction with friends, and of course they miss their physical activities among themselves, playing soccer, stuff like that, because mine's a boys' school. And so my wish is for this pandemic to really end soon, and let's be hopeful and prayerful about this, and then can revert back to pre-COVID. I believe we'll really treasure post-COVID time, the fresh air and traveling to neighboring countries. Like I can visit Indonesia, and you can come to Singapore, or I can go to Malaysia, and Bangkok. Yeah, and I think the present new normal will end, but another new normal may just come again, right? So I think by that time we should be more prepared. Okay, more prepared to handle uh, the next normal. Okay. Hope it doesn't come too early. Now, in conclusion, okay, as science teacher, we innovate our science lessons to tackle the new normal by adopting ICT and interesting pedagogy, right? We should not lose sight of the important features like inquiry-based, reflective, collaborative, AFL, NDI, etc. And of course, to me, I think fostering joy of learning is important, supporting the social, emotional needs, and then of course the student mindsets of a lifelong learners. Okay, I think with that, I come to the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ko, for the presentations. This pandemic is a big challenge for educators, right? As we know that we need to be more creative and innovative to conduct teaching and learning activities. And adaptation is the key, how to deliver the materials of our subjects during this pandemic era. Of course, we can optimize online tools, right, for the activities. Yes. And there are so many online tools I think that we can use, such as you mentioned before, is Google Meet and YouTube videos and so on. Okay, next we will have a discussion sessions, Mr. Ko.
Yes.
Okay, we have about 15 minutes for discussion sessions. I will read the first questions, I think. Let me check first. Okay, so I think this is the questions is from Raymond Gon. What are the best possible practices to cope up with the stress brought by a new normal way of teaching and learning? So thank you. So maybe I repeat again. What are the best possible practices to cope up with the stress brought by new normal way of teaching and learning? Since you said before some meaningful learning and so on, I think it's a good question. Please, Mr. Ko.
Okay, thanks, Raymond, for the questions. I think it's very true. The stress is not just the teachers, the students also felt it, right? And parents also. Everybody has the stress, and I believe it's a combined effort of everybody. What we can do is not to add on to the stress, and what science teachers can do is to make the learning as seamless as possible. Okay, so for example, we try to simulate what happened in school, like the practical or even like lessons at home. We try to simulate, but using technology okay, that is available at this moment. Then at the parent side, we need to let them know what they can do to help their children to cope with this learning of science or any other subjects. So the teacher also need to be open-minded to learn. And I think a lot of my colleagues have really picked up a lot of things during this period because of the sheer need urgency to really teach the students. So I think as the earlier speaker, Mr. Agus has said, I believe Singapore has the same thing. I think our IT adoption has shot up, accelerated. Okay, especially amongst educators, we really jump on the bandwagon and learn whatever we can, and then so that we deliver lessons that the students are happy. So back to the question again is that first we will the teacher do their part, okay, adopt the ICT, learn what we can, and I think the school will support us, and the parents need to be informed how they can help the children, and the children need to be told clearly what they can do to be engaged in the classroom learning. So with that settled, I think there's less stress. And of course, we can always monitor students by calling them, talking to them, whether it's during this lesson or after the lesson. Okay, I hope I've answered the question.
Okay, thank you for answering the questions, Mr. Koh. Now I think we have questions, and then the questions will be asked directly by the person. And okay, so may I invite Ibu Widya, right? So you can speak or ask directly to Mr. Koh, please.
Oh, me now? Myself?
Yes, yes, we can hear your voice. Please start.
Okay, thank you. I have a question as I am a chemistry teacher here and we live in a red zone area for COVID-19. So I think it's impossible for us to arrange any experimental sessions, any experimental classes for my students in next academic year. So I think it's also impossible for me as a chemistry teacher to assess my students through experimental sessions because I teach 11th grade, so we will use so many or various experimental chemical substances. What's your suggestion for this, please? Thank you.
I think may I clarify, Ms. Ibudia, is they asking that how can we in this new normal conduct science experiments, and it seems impossible like chemistry, and how do we assess their learning, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I think for some experiments, it's not suggested that the students do at home because it can be dangerous. Dangerous, especially chemistry, right? Chemicals.
Yeah.
So I think for chemistry experiment, the best is maybe you can do a video of how it's conducted, then post it online for the students to see the effects. After which, what they can do is they can record the observations, like effervescence, whatever. No? Then after that, when they record, then they can do their deduction of what happened. So I think 2/3 of it can be done by the students safely. The main part, 1/3, the conducting experiment, can be done by the teachers in the school lab, and then shared with the students. Then they can see for themselves, most importantly, how it's conducted, how it's set up. Then once the pandemic is over, when they come back to school, I think they can quickly go and do all the practical hands-on experiment. The recording part, they already learned during the pandemic. They only need to do the setup and then to pour all the chemicals and then those skills they can pick up after the pandemic. Of course, the other one which I shared is the virtual reality. That one, I haven't really gone into it, but I Googled and found it interesting, where the student can actually pretend to pour 2 chemicals and then something happens. so they can actually simulate doing the actions. Like the surgeon now, they can actually do virtual reality, right? Surgery. So students can also do that. But that one, I think a bit too high-tech for now. So the video, I think, is quite good. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Vidya, for your questions. Now I think we will read the last questions, Mr. Koh. So this is from Ms. Nuri Martini, I think, from Indonesia. So the question is, we realize that this pandemic become our opportunities for us as teachers to develop our competencies in technologies. But what happens when we have limitations or take more times to learn or adapt? So this is the challenges, how to adapt to this technology. Of course, this technology is about applications for teaching and learning in especially in for remote area or for remote learning. Any suggestions? What should we do to make our class still engaging as fast as? Sorry, I repeat again. Any suggestions? What should we do to make our class still engaging as face-to-face class? So I think that's the point.
Okay. Um, okay, it's not easy because firstly, some of students might not really have the technology on their hand, the online device. Like I mentioned, one or two students, their device has to be shared with their sisters or parents. So assuming everybody has the online device, they can log in and then they can see the teacher can see them. So on that basis, then how to make it interesting? It would be how we pedagogically design our lessons to engage them. It can be an interactive one. But then again, to design interactive lesson and so on also needs to acquire the ICT skills. Okay. So, but thankfully, I think I must say that now, compared to 20 or even 10 years ago, the technology now is actually more user friendly. So I believe if we take the first step, the courage forward to try out, it's not as daunting, as complex as before. Okay, most of the technologies, those also called the learning systems that we have online, are actually something quite user friendly. So, but then again, we still need people who can be consulted. So I believe in the schools or even in the cluster schools, there may be someone who are the professional in this area. We can call it the expert teacher who can actually be the helpline to help other fellow teachers adopt, learn the skill of using this technology. Okay? Like in my school, sometimes I also consult my colleagues who are very good in ICT. And for example, we have HOD ICT also. We can consult them how to do it. We can go online, check the YouTube. They also will provide very close guidance on how they do it. So a lot of things are available. If we try out, we find out from YouTube, we find out from our colleagues, we try it out, it can be acquired quite pretty fast, especially everybody are doing it. Yeah, I hope I've answered the question.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Koh.
Okay.
And I think this is the last questions for our second speaker,
Okay.
Mr. Koh. Thank you
Okay.
again
Thank
for
you.
sharing
Okay. Yes.
insights on science teaching and learning in the new normal,
Okay.
as well as all your inspiring achievements in regional
Okay.
and
Okay.
international level.
Thank you. All the best. Bye bye.
Thank you. See you again,
Bye
Mr.
bye.
Koh.
Okay. See you.
Okay. And then, dear participants, for the next presentations, it will be from our third speaker from Malaysia, Mr. Nuan Helmi bin Abdul Muttalib. Okay. Hello, Mr. Helmi, Cikgu Helmi. Okay. But before we start,
hi, Mr. Raymond.
Okay. Before we start, please allow me to introduce our third speaker. Okay. Okay, Mr. Nur Helmi bin Abdul Muttalib, born in Perlis, Malaysia, 11 September 1981. He is a teacher at SMK Jerlun, Malaysia. He graduated from Bachelor of Pure Science, especially in chemistry, University Science Malaysia. His specializations is STEM educations. And as we can see on the monitor, he has many achievements. For example, in 2017, he got Excellent STEM Teachers Award. And then 2018, Malaysian nominee for the second Hajar Dewantara Award by SEAMEO QITEP in Science, of course, along with Mr. Koh Chang previously. And then in 2019, he got Futuristic Teacher Award. Wow, so. And then in 2019, a special icon teacher for educational technology. And then it is fresh in 2020. You are at the top 50 finalists of Global Teacher Prize 2020. So now let's start our third speaker's presentation. Cikgu Helmi, The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Raymond. Hello, very good morning to all my fellow friends, all educators from Southeast Asia. I've been noticed by Mr. Rizwan that most of the attendees are from Indonesia and also from the Philippines. But I also wish that everybody that, we could learn and share everything about what we had done during the pandemic. Okay, so for my presentation, I would like to share about going back to school, because we know that in Malaysia we already started reopen our school since the 24th of July. So my presentation will be on education during and also after the pandemic. Okay, here's a brief introduction to myself, just like being introduced by Mr. Rizwan. I just have 14 years of experience in teaching. I actively share a lot of my best practices in workshop and also seminar nationwide. I've also like to participate in a lot of international teacher program. I've been in Korea for Teacher Exchange 2015, Space Camp for Teacher at US Space and Rocket Center in United States of America. And also last year, I've been to CERN International Teacher Program at Geneva, which I think that I would like to promote all of the Southeast Asian teacher to join the same program also to gain the experience. So you also can follow me on my Facebook, my Twitter, my YouTube, and also my Instagram with the tweet handle Cikgu Helmi. Cikgu in Malaysian language means Cikgu means teacher. Okay, so I'm going to start my presentation with an information that I gained from Wikipedia and also being recognized by the UN. So how bad COVID-19 had hit us? It is told that almost 1.725 billion learners are affected due to the school closure because of the pandemic. And also it is about 98.5%. And in Malaysia alone, there are about more than 6 million students are affected by the pandemic, and also more than 400 teachers are affected too. And in Malaysia, COVID-19, we handle it into six phases. Okay, the first one, we call it the first 4 phases, we call it Movement Control Order, MCO. And now we are on recovery movement control order, which we can go to school to teach. Students also start to go to school back once again. And in Malaysia, COVID-19 cases are getting decreased in number. So that's why our government think that we should start to improve back our economy and also our education, since we know that online learning could be questioned, the effectiveness of the online learning could be questioned. So that's why we think that it is the right time to start back our education. In Malaysia, we handle the digital learning through 2 types of platform. We have DELIMA, which is the acronym for Digital Educational Learning Initiative. It is a platform that provide, that combine everything into one-stop center. So students and also teachers all over the country are given free Google Classroom so that we can access to all the materials and also all the quizzes, and everything is going to be by using Google Classroom type of platform. So we name it DELIMA. And for those students who didn't get access to internet, so our government helped them by providing learning materials, educational materials through network television. It is a national television, so they spend about 2 to 3 hours of broadcasting time to provide learning contents that come from various subjects, also for various grades. So it is about to cater the students who don't have good internet connection at their area. And during the pandemic, this is how I plan my lesson. It is like a common thing, or a common a common behavior among teachers to plan a lesson. So I'm going to start with who am I teaching? It means knowing my students could help me to plan a better lesson. Know either they are capable or not to access the internet. Either they are, about the well-being. Either they are could be supported by their parents and everything. So the first question I ask is about who am I teaching? It's about my students. And the second thing is about what am I going to teach? It's about the content, also the objective. Like we've been stated on the slide, we should have a very clear objective of what students should achieve through our online learning. Unless it's going to be, they just learn, but they just go through the process, but they didn't learn anything. The third question that I would like to ask myself is about how will I teach? It's about to pick what's the best e-learning platform for my students. Either I can use synchronous learning, or asynchronous learning is really up to the students' situation and also background. And last question I would like to ask before I plan a lesson is about do my students understand? This is the most crucial question that I think that we as a teacher should ask ourselves. Either we still think that we teach through online, but either it is really effective, or how to make sure that the students really understand what we are going to teach. So the assessment part is very important. So as all of you know that we had two types of e-learning. We had synchronous learning and also asynchronous learning. So synchronous is like, learning at the same time. It's just like a real-time learning, just like we are doing now. We learn from each other. We are collaborating each other through a Zoom application. So this is type of synchronous learning. And another one is asynchronous learning, where we use pre-recorded videos or any materials that we give students, and then we give them some times, and also so that they can access to it at their most comfortable time. It's just like giving something and then leave it for them for about a week and then come back to answer the question. So for synchronous learning, we know that there are so many platforms that could be offered that we can use. So we had Zoom, just like we are using today. We had Cisco WebEx, Google Meet, and also Microsoft Teams. Most of my friends, I believe they prefer to use Google Meet and also Microsoft Teams because of early of this year, we know that Zoom application got some security reason. So most of them use Google Meet, which is known that quite secure and also more safety on your online materials. But I'm also having I think more than 3 times a webinar with Saroja. Is a teacher union from Jakarta Barat, if I'm not mistaken, for 3 times about sharing what's happening in Malaysia at the time by using Cisco WebEx. It's quite effective, and also I feel so glad to to keep reaching teachers outside of my country to know what they are doing in their classroom now. And there are several issues that are related to e-learning, especially for the students and also for the teachers. For the students, we should know that students' motivation is very low at this time. People are worried about the pandemic, so we don't, fit physically and also emotionally during this time. Everybody is worrying about themselves and also their family, their friends. So students' motivation are something that we need to be, to be considered on. The second thing is about data. Internet is very important. Internet data is very important because in my case, most of my students own a gadget. They have their smartphone. I believe your student also have a gadget with them right now, but they don't have internet data. But I'm so lucky that Malaysia government, with the work of our telecommunication company, so every Malaysian are provided 1 GB internet data free for every day. So it's just like helping, e-learning to happen and also to promote e-commerce during this time. So this type of action is quite, improve, helping and supporting e-learning to happen. The third thing is about unconducive environment. So we know that some of my students didn't have, because most of my students come from a very low income family background. So most of them don't have, because most of the parents are farmer and also fishermen. So they don't have any special room or special learning spaces that is conducive to support the online learning for them. And the last one, the parents' role, as I stated before, that most of my students come from low income family background. So their parents are mostly, only high schools, graduate. So it's just like they can't help their kids very much during the learning, during the process. So it's just like the students are really depending on the teachers. And for the teachers side, I think there are also several issues that we need to handle, just like the teachers' motivation. We just know that everybody is worried about their safety and health. So it's very important to make sure that the well-being of the teacher is being, the first priority during the pandemic. And also I believe that some teachers also having difficulties in providing special rooms or spaces learning for the teaching process to happen. And one important thing is about to make sure that every students are learning. Every students are learning. So it means that for those students who didn't get access to e-learning or online learning, so we need to think about another solution that we need to give them. Either we need to send them by, to handing them the question or some worksheet to be done during the pandemic, or any solution that is possible. And for me myself, I think to get the students respond during the pandemic is very, is very struggling for me. It's just like, because we don't know what is, what type of problem that my students are, it's just like participating at that time. So to get the students respond during the e-learning process is very quite challenging for me. So this is some example of the synchronous learning that I did with my students. So because it is almost impossible for me to do synchronous learning with my students because of their internet data and a lot of issue related to my students. So I think I don't want to waste my time. So I prefer to make a video myself, all the teaching learning, and also I think that this is the best solution for me, so that I can use the video during and also after the pandemic. It's just like, killing two birds with one stone. And then I prefer to use WhatsApp, or in Indonesia they call it WA, is it? Mr. Rizan? Okay. WhatsApp application. So this is, the platform that I prefer to use because most of my students are engaged into the platform. So I share a lot of videos, articles, PDF, and also photo as a stimulus for them to make sure the learning. And also sometimes I use a voice note to make sure that they receive my instruction clearly. And for the assessment part, I prefer to use quizzes that it is more engaging compared to Google Form. but at the same time also the collaboration among teachers, could make it more easier for us. And yeah, for the last one is I prefer to use Google Form, as I know that this can be done by students by their self-paced, and is then they can repeat it 100 times if they don't satisfied with the result. And what I would like to highlight for the teachers today is about the initiative that being initiated by teacher in Malaysia. So we make a group or a program that we call Cikgu Tube. Cikgu means teacher, Tube means a combination between Cikgu and YouTube. It's just like we are promoting or encouraging teacher to create educational videos, because we know that there are less videos, or there are only quite small number of educational videos with Malaysian content available online. So we think that this is a good time for us to promote the Malaysian teachers to let us together make a video about Malaysian content. And also we provide training on making videos through lots of webinar, and also we provide a online platform so that teacher could learn during the pandemic. So until now we had are able to train more than 6,000 teachers that are actively produce educational videos now. So these are the logo of the movement. I would say that what I like the most about the movement is about from teacher to teacher initiative, and also it is being supported 100% by our Ministry of Education. So the initiative become one big success in Malaysia. So just like what I said before, we provide online learning, online training for the teachers through webinars. I'm also one of the trainer for the online training. My expertise is on making making educational video by using your smartphone. It is my forte. And also we provide online support for the teachers who just started to create their videos and material content through Telegram and also through WhatsApp. And also we noticed that because during the pandemic, because most of the teachers create a lot of online materials, just like quiz, Google Form, Quizit, everything, including the videos. So we think that it is time for teachers to come back to blogging. So blogging could provide as a portal, and also as an organizer for all your learning materials, so that students can access to your online materials much easier by using category of subjects, type of content, and also a grade. So for me personally, I'm also a blogger in my country, an educational blogger. So I could saw a very huge traffic during the pandemic. So it is up to 300% during the pandemic. So I think as a teacher, just like I said before, we should start blogging, since we know that it could support our online learning. And so here are some tips of how to choose the right platform. So I think either you want to use Zoom or Cisco WebEx or Microsoft Teams. It is because every platform has their own pros and also cons, contra things. So we need to think about the efficiency of the platform, the convenience of how we as the teacher to use the platform, and also the flexibility to use it. Either they are providing streaming, or also something that recorded version of the webinar. So I think that things we need to consider. And another thing is about the students' motivation. So how to increase the students' engagement during the e-learning is about to use various type of a variety types of student tasks. This is to keep them with the new things that going to motivate them from day to day. So for me personally, I think I prefer to use project at home. Some teacher use essay or video making. The variety of their product is going to to make them more engaged with our class. So in Malaysia, just like what I said, we already reopened our school on 24th of July with 11th and also 12th grade. We need to follow a very strict SOP, standard operating procedure. So we need to take measurement of body temperature every day at the gate school. And then we need to keep the distance 1 meter for each student. We need to rearrange students' desks and also everything, including some arrow, which door they should enter and which door they should go out. And they are also promoting practicing 3Ws, which is wash our hands frequently, wear masks, and also warn people. And we should avoid 3Cs, crowded places, confined spaces, and also close conversation. So this is being told to students every day, and teacher also should remind in every class. So here's some rules and regulation being stated by our National Security Council after they have discussed with Ministry of Education and also Ministry of Health about what's the best approach for the students and also the teachers if we open back our school. So our Ministry of Education also provide or suggesting 2 types of learning will take place after the school reopen. So they encourage blended learning, which is the combination between face-to-face learning and also online technology, just like what we did today. Strategies or approach like flipped classroom is is hoping to help students and also teachers to speed up the education and also to make sure that learning can happen in a new norm. Okay, and the second thing is about student and teacher also encouraged to use project-based learning so that students are more active during the process, and also it could make students are engaged to the learning. Okay, and for those who don't have access to technology, so some of the school make their effort on providing printed modules so that they are able to send it from house to house, and then they will pick up on after a week. I would like to share what being shared by Mr. Wahid Yunianto from QITEP in Med, if I'm not mistaken. He shared about this matter during Seroja meeting number 36. So these are the types of blended learning. If you look at carefully at number 11, flipped classroom, also one of the type of blended learning that we can do with our students. And also number 9 is project-based. So these are activities that could promote blended learning. So yeah, teacher should try to to embrace the new norm. And for me myself, what's the strategy that we should look after this? I mean, after we reopen school. So the first thing I did after my school is open again, so I remapping yearly plan because we had been locked down for almost 3 months. So the content of the subject need to be rearranged back, and also to make sure that it is aligned to our new calendar of school. And the second thing is about the teacher need to have the skill of unboxing curriculum. So we need to unpack and also repack the curriculum and also the new learning. And one more thing I learned about thematic learning. So that picking a theme and then also integrate few subject and also topics so that it could, give a new definition of learning for my students. And also the flipped classroom itself is also one of my strategy to, to promote engagement among my students. And here are some of my tips for you guys. The first thing is about how to increase students' engagement during our online learning is about, we keep discuss, it's not only one way type of learning, and also the students need to have the teacher's presence because it's very common to feel the students to feel isolated during online learning because they are not with anyone or any teacher. So we should make ourselves just like teachers are there. Second thing is about I believe that collaboration among teacher is a must. We need to plan together what we should do, and then we share good resources so that uh, you know, uh, so we could share a lot of good material so that everybody keep giving what they could help. And also, just like what being told by Mr. Koh just now, is about the attitude to keep on learning. So digital learning is also is a must. And we know that during online learning, one size doesn't fit all. So we need to think about what's the best solution to fit to our students' need. It must be locality based and really depend on how the students and also the teachers skill. I also would like to emphasize on what being shared by a Filipino teacher during Global Teacher T4 conference, as Global Teacher Conference, Mr. Francis Jim Toscano, is about teacher as compass with a new direction. So teacher should become a leader during this time. Teachers' well-being is a must, and also a collaboration among teachers, just like I said before, and also the need of the technology. So everybody now should be on the wagon, to learn and also to apply technology. And before I stop my presentation, I would like to to promote to ASEAN teachers today that these are the opportunities that I get from international collaboration with teachers. So I used to become one of the nominee for second Hajar Dewantara Award, which I think is one of the best moment in my life as a teacher, to be able to meet these great teachers from all over Southeast Asia. And also I'll still keep in touch with them until today. It's just like, making network with especially Bu Dini from Indonesia. So we keep changing and also keep sharing our expertise. I think everybody will be on the same path. And also I would like to encourage all of the teachers today that we applied for Global Teacher Prize. Is quite prestigious award for teachers globally. So after tried for 5 times, this year I make it to the finalist top 50, and I hope that more ASEAN teachers will be on the top 50 list also after this. Okay, so that's all for my presentation, but I would like to ask help from the secretariat. Either Mr. Raymond, either you are being equipped with the videos or not?
Yes, I will
Yeah.
help you.
Okay, so I'm going to stop my presentation with this, with my video on the SOP that we need to follow after we reopen our school. Okay, that's all for today. So thank you so much, and I hope that we could meet again once again. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cikgu Helmi. And then we will play the video. Okay, please enjoy this video.
Tentu murid-murid tak sabar nak ke sekolah kan? Okey, sebelum tu kita tengok dulu apa SOP atau peraturan yang kita kena patuhi sebelum kita ke sekolah. Jom. Masuk saja kawasan sekolah, murid-murid akan jumpa dengan checkpoint pertama iaitu saringan suhu badan harian. Di sini suhu badan akan diukur dan murid akan catatkan suhu badan tersebut ke dalam buku rekod harian. Pastikan suhu badan tidak melebihi 37.5. Cuci tangan anda dengan menggunakan hand sanitizer dengan menggunakan 7 langkah mencuci tangan yang betul. Dan seterusnya bergerak ke kelas mengikut arah hana panah yang disediakan. Bagi murid yang bergejala dan menunjukkan suhu badan melebihi 37.5, guru akan mencadangkan anda supaya balik ke rumah dengan waris. Sekolah juga menyediakan bilik isolasi sebagai alternatif kepada pelajar yang sakit di sekolah. Teruskan bergerak ke kelas dengan menggunakan arah hana panah yang disediakan. Ingat ya, jalan dalam keadaan yang berjarak sekurang-kurangnya 1 meter dengan rakan anda. Jangan malu bertanya dengan guru bertugas supaya anda tak sesat jalan. Maklumlah, lama tak datang sekolah. Terus kekalkan penjarakan sosial 1 meter sekurang-kurangnya. Dah sampai ke kelas, pastikan nama anda berada dalam senarai yang disediakan. Kena pasti meja dan kerusi anda serta duduk dengan tertib. Jangan bimbang, semua tempat sudah dilabelkan. Memakai penutup muka adalah tidak diwajibkan, tetapi sekolah amat menggalakkan jika anda nak pakai. Jika mahu ke tandas, dapatkan pas kedua daripada guru yang bertugas. Keluar dengan menggunakan pintu kedua serta ikut anak panah yang disediakan. Sangkulkan pas keluar anda sebagai tanda ada seorang pelajar di dalam tandas. Hanya 4 orang yang dibenarkan pada sesuatu masa. Selesai urusan anda, jangan lupa ambil semula pas keluar dan kembali ke kelas dengan gembira. Ingat ya murid-murid, setiap kali keluar daripada kelas, anda haruslah menggunakan pintu keluar dan mengikut anak panah seperti yang telah disediakan oleh pihak sekolah. Jika mahu ke makmal, terus ikut arah anak panah yang disediakan dan pastikan beratur terlebih dahulu di luar makmal sebelum dibenarkan oleh guru untuk masuk ke dalam. Jika mahu ke kantin pula, arah anak panah yang disediakan dari arah yang berbeza serta ikut laluan seperti yang telah ditentukan. Awas, hanya seorang pelajar saja dibenarkan duduk. Okey, teruskan mengikut arah anak panah yang disediakan serta beratur dalam kotak yang telah disediakan di hadapan kaunter makanan. Jangan bimbang, pihak sekolah telah berurusan dengan pihak kantin supaya menyediakan makanan yang mencukupi. Selesai dapatkan makanan anda, terus bergerak ke kelas untuk makan di sana. Ini pula laluan untuk balik daripada sekolah. Bagi murid yang menggunakan motosikal boleh bergerak ke kanan, manakala yang berjalan kaki bolehlah bergerak ke kiri dan terus menuju ke pintu pagar sekolah untuk balik ke rumah. Yang bermotosikal juga haruslah bergerak meninggalkan sekolah dengan kadar yang segera.
Selamat kembali ke sekolah. Sila patuhi SOP Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia. #kita jaga kita.
Okay, that's all my presentation. Thank you so much, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Cikgu Helmi. So later we will share as well the YouTube link, right? It's okay, right, Mr. Cikgu Helmi? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so now for the next sessions, there will be a discussion sessions. There is someone who wants to ask you directly. Now I will invite Miss Gusti Ayurai Tirta. So please, if you want to ask directly to Cikgu Helmi. Now you are on, and you can turn on your video and audio as well. Please.
I'm ready.
Okay, good morning, please. Miss Gusti Ayurai Tirta,
Yeah.
to ask questions.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm very excited to join your presentation. My name is Gusti Ayurai Tirta. I'm from Bali. Now I will have a question for you. How to use learning media to suit the need of the student? We know as a teacher, we have a different characteristic for our student. How to overcome about that? Thank you.
Bu Gusti, do you mind to repeat the question once again?
Okay. How to use a learning media to suit the need of the student? We can know as a teacher, we have a different characteristic about our student. How to overcome about that? Yes.
Okay, what type of learning media do you mean? I think just like what I shared before, we had several types of learning, and also we had a lot of application that can be used by us as the platform. So I think it really depends on your skill on how to use the platform itself, and also the surrounding or the environment of your students, because just like what I said, my students didn't get a good access to internet connection. So things like synchronous learning, like teleconference is not suitable for them. So I prefer to use WeAR or WhatsApp application as online platform for them. So I think pick the best really depend on your skill on how to use it, and also the students capability also.
Okay.
Am I answer your question?
Yes, I see.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Much. Thank you, Bagusti.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the answers, Cikgu Helmi, and thank you as well for your questions, Ms. Gusti Ayurai Tirta. Now I will read the second question, Cikgu Helmi. It's from Nuri Martini. Mr. Nuan Helmi, your asynchronous and synchronous learning tools so varying. I believe your students will engage in your class. My question is, how long you make preparations for your class? So I repeat again, how long you make preparations for your class? And what are the basic skills needed to be like you, which are able to create as many as tools for your teaching and learning? So there are two questions. Please answer it, Cikgu Helmi.
Okay, thank you so much. Is it Nuri?
Yes, Ibu Nuri.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bu Nuri, for the questions. I would like to answer the question of preparation time that I, spend on planning a lesson. I don't think that I spend much on that because I believe online learning should be very flexible. Depends on the student's response and also the student's product. So I prefer to, I just spend about 2 or 3 hours a day to plan about online learning for my students, especially on deciding what's the best activity or what the best online platform that I should use. So the main thing about the main thing that I consider during the planning session is about the flexibility in the approach, so that most of my students can get benefit from it. And for the second question, what is it? Sorry, I forgot about it. I couldn't hear you, Mr. Raymond.
Okay, sorry. For the second questions, what are the basic skills needed to be like you, which are able to create as many as tools for your teaching and learning? So the basic skills.
Okay, basic skills. I don't think I have any extraordinary skills that, I think it's very normal for average or for a common teacher. We should master our content first, so that it's going to help us very much if we master the content. And the second thing is about, if you're a creative teacher, I think you can, do anything to as the experiment of your, of your pedagogy. But also, if you don't think that you are creative, you can, you can follow your friend first before you can adapt and adopt to your lesson. So it's just like, for me, myself, I think becoming a creative teacher is just like, it's just like you should have, we should have, that dare to fail attitude. It's just like, just keep doing everything and anything, keep trying. So keep experimenting. So we will know that on what tools that can be used to be, to improve our skill as a teacher. I think I hope that I answer your question correctly.
Okay, nice answers, Cikgu Helmi. And unfortunately, that is the last questions. And thank you very much, Cikgu Helmi, for your presentations once again. It's really inspiring. And then we believe that with innovations, we can solve any problems during this pandemic era. The key is keep innovating, keep creative, and stay healthy, of course, right? So thank you very much for your sharings, your knowledge, and also experiences with us, Cikgu Helmi.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
See you again in the next webinar and in the next agenda of SEAMEO QITEP in Science. Stay healthy.
Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Thank you. So, dear participants, we have listened to our speakers' presentations in today's webinar. Next, we still have the last agenda. It's about the informations of our upcoming program in this year, which is the third Ki Hajar Dewantara Award. Now, I would like to invite Miss Amalia Juliana. Please come. Okay. So, she is one of SEAMEO QITEP in Science officers who becomes the committee of the third Ki Hajar Dewantara Award. Welcome, Miss Amalia Juliana.
Okay, so, hi.
Hi, good afternoon.
Afternoon, oh yes, it's 8 afternoon, right?
Yes, right.
Mr. Lukman.
Yeah. It's so nice to have you here. So I'm not alone again. So now, but let's listen to the information of the third Ki Hajar Dewantara Awards from Miss Amalia. Miss Amalia, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so in this time, I would like to make some promotion about our upcoming event, the third Ki Hajar Dewantara Award. Okay, so let's start about the Ki Hajar Dewantara itself. Ki Hajar Dewantara is SEAMEO's biennial flagship program to acknowledge science teachers' dedication and tireless effort in bringing science learning into the excellent level. In this year, SEAMEO will conduct the Ki Hajar Dewantara Award in 17 November 2020 that will be located in Yogyakarta. So the history behind screen a bit screen failure. Okay. Okay, so all is good, right? Okay. So Ki Hajar Dewantara Award is SEAMEO's biennial flagship program to acknowledge science teachers' dedication and tireless effort in bringing science learning into the excellence level. In 2020, SEAMEO will conduct the third Ki Hajar Dewantara Award. Okay, so history behind Ki Hajar Dewantara Award. Actually, this kind of award, we have started this award since 2012. Yes, 2012. It was the annual event, and after we call it Best Science Teacher Award. This is the annual award, but in 2016 we changed the name and also the whole selection mechanism and everything. So we changed it into Ki Hajar Dewantara Award, and previously it was annual, and for Ki Hajar Dewantara it's biennial. So we only held it once in 2 years. It doesn't move. Okay, thank you. So the goals itself. First, the goal is to commemorate the services of Ki Hajar Dewantara in forming national education system. So for your information, Ki Hajar Dewantara is the first Ministry of Education of Indonesia. And second one, to develop, advocate, and reward excellence in science learning and teaching practices. The third, to reinforce the concept of the teaching profession and science education development as driving force in regional progress, leading collectively. And fourth, to foster cooperation and close relationship among SEAMEO member countries by means of better science education and a greater awareness of the place of science in society. The nominees. The award will be presented to 11 selected best science teachers as the nominees, representing each SEAMEO member country in the form of travel grants as a privilege to attend the inauguration of the award. And for this year's theme is Innovation in Science and Learning Toward Industrial Revolution 4.0. Okay. This year, date and venue, the nominees presentation on science learning research on innovation will be held at 17 November 2020, and the announcement of the winners will be at 18 November 2020, and the venue will be in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Well, I know it's still in the pandemic, but we hope that as time goes by, there will be better, so we can help our event in November. Okay, next. So for the awards, The awards for the winner are comprised of first trophy, certificate, a teacher professional development fund sum of for first winner 5,000 USD, second winner 2,500 USD, then the third winner is $1,000 US. Okay, so the general requirements for those who wants to join the KHD. First, it should be citizen of SEAMEO member countries. Second, being able to communicate in English. Third, primary or secondary science teacher in education institutions. Fourth, having science teaching innovation with ingenious methods to engage students in learning of science. Fifth, being recommended by relevant education unit or institution or community. And last, active member of Teachers Association. So there are two registration requirements for first for Indonesian and the other one for all applicants outside Indonesia. First, I would like to explain for the application from Indonesia. Applicants must fill in the registration form and submit requirement documents at, well, you can see the link before 17 July 2020. Oh, it's really close, right? And the requirement documents are follows. First, best practice paper. The paper template can be downloaded at the link and as you can see on the screen. Second is recommendation letter from head of teacher association and or head of education office. Third, curriculum vitae with the professional highest achievement. And last is scanned copy of passport or national identity card. So how about the selection mechanism? The first, after applicant submission, there will be desk evaluation. So that means SEAMEO QITEP in Science will be assess your documents and portfolio. And the third will be paper review. Our expert panel will be review your paper. And fourth, after that, we will choose only 20 best applicant, 20 best paper. And after that, those 20 best participants will be asked to do the online presentation. And after online presentation, we will only choose one best nominee that will be the representative of Indonesia. And these one best Indonesian nominees will be compete with 10 nominees from other SEAMEO member countries at KHD Award at 17 November 2020. And also become the paper presenter at joint international conference between SEAMEO QITEP in Science, SEAMEO QITEP in Math, and also IPST. That will be held on 18 to 19 November 2020. So, but how about the other 19 selected paper? The 19 selected teachers will be attend the KHD Award as audience and also become the paper presenter at the conference. Okay, so this one is for the registration requirements for applicants from other SEAMEO member countries. Applicants must fill in the registration form and submit requirement documents to respective Ministry of Education. The requirement documents are as follows. First, best practice paper, then nomination letter from Ministry of Education. Third, curriculum vitae with the professional highest achievement. And fourth, scanned copy of passport. So next is selection mechanism. Well, actually the selection mechanism will be similar, but it's not, it won't be done by SEAMEO QITEP in Science. Instead, it will be done by respective Ministry of Education. So the Ministry of Education in your respective country they will assess your paper and they will be choose only one nominee as the country representative. one nominee from each SEAMEO member country will compete as the representative at Hajar Dewantara and will become paper presenter at joint international conference between SIKIS, Sikkim, and IPST. Judges. The judges of the award are experts in science education, SEAMEO Secretariat Director, the head of Bureau of Cooperation and Public Relations, Ministry of Education and Culture of Indonesia. If you still need more information, you can visit www.qitepinscience.org and you can read all the requirements and all the information. And if you still have something to ask, you may find the contact number on our website. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Amalia, for the clear information.
Yeah, I really hope that a lot of you are going to join our award. And also, hurry up because this submission will be closed soon.
Yes,
right?
It's only several days again. I think it's less than 2 weeks because we will close the registrations on 17 July 2020. And I think I have 1 or 2 questions. The first question is from Zainul Mustafa. The question is there any chance becoming nominee again if I ever join on second Hajar Dewantara Award?
Oh, sorry, you can't. We will give another chances to another teacher who never joined. Who never joined our event before. So let's give them a chance.
Okay, so we'll give another chance to other participants from Indonesia and 10 SEAMEO member countries outside Indonesia. And then for the last questions is college or higher education teachers are not eligible to join in this Science Teacher Award, are they?
No, it's only for primary and secondary science teacher. Sorry.
Okay, so that's all I think the questions. And thank you, Ms. Amalia Juliana, for the information. See you again. And then we do hope that all participants can register to our third Hajar Dewantara Awards. And it's a good and great opportunity for you to develop your skills and competencies. Okay, now dear participants, we have finished all of today's presentations. From the speakers' presentations, we could learn that COVID-19 pandemic has caused global crisis that becomes a challenge for education. We could answer the challenge by keep being innovative in developing science teaching and learning activities. Then during the new normal, we will mostly use online media or blended learning to assist us in conducting teaching and learning activities. The media could provide a lot of information needed for students' learning. However, as a teacher, we are not only urged to be innovative in delivering the learning content, we should also be able to motivate our students to overcome this crisis. Dear participants, this is the conclusions of our today's webinar. Before we end this webinar, I would like to invite all the participants to create an account at our course information system at course.qitepinscience.org to get access to our upcoming programs. And then I would like to inform you about the attendance form. We have shared the link to access the attendance form on the chat box. Please make sure you submit the attendance form because based on that attendance form, we will give the e-certificate of this webinar. Please, and then we will send the e-certificate to your email by 7 working days at the latest. So your e-certificate will be available in 7 working days, so around next Friday. And please also fill in the evaluations form at the link that we share on Zoom and YouTube chat box. For the participants who join on YouTube, please don't forget to fill in the resume as the conditions for you to get the e-certificate. Finally, On behalf of SEAMEO QITEP in Science, I would like to extend our gratitude for all speakers, Mr. Agus Fani Chandra Wijaya, Mr. Koh Chang, and also Mr. Nuan Helmi Abdul Muttalib for your sharing. Thank you so much. And thank you for all participants for joining this webinar. We wish you well, be safe, and have a good day. Good afternoon.
SEAMEO QITEP in Science, or SEAKIS, which is located in Bandung, was established in 2009. SEAKIS has successfully conducted many programs that are categorized into 3 program tracks: development, learning resource development, and professional learning.
It's time to open our eyes to a bright and promising future. We'll rise to the call of the times and create a stronger tomorrow. Let's start to make a difference, teaching everyone to learn through science, health, and technology. We will share our expertise by promoting knowledge and policies. We can build a better world. Let us take a step for our visions alone, bringing future plans for the people to grow in a life filled with happiness and green. Here at SEAMEO, building the future is our legacy. We'll achieve our goals through partnership, creating opportunities. By working hand in hand, we can accomplish all our dreams. For a better quality of life is now within our reach. Let us take a step for our visions alone, bringing future plans for the people to grow in a life filled with happiness and green. Here at SEAMEO, building the future is our legacy. Let us take a step for our visions alone, bringing future plans for the people to grow in a life filled with happiness and green. Here at SEAMEO, building the future is our legacy. Building the future is
SEAMEO QITEP in Science, or SEAKIS, which is located in Bandung, was established in 2009. SEAKIS has successfully conducted many programs that are categorized into 3 program tracks, namely professional teacher development, learning resource development, and professional learning communities. The 3 program trusts are elaborated into age categories of program, which are: training course is one of SEAKIS' responsibilities to increase the quality of teachers and education personnel. The trainings are divided into 3 categories, which are regular training courses, customized training courses, collaboration training courses. competencies related to science learning. International conference, seminars, and online lectures purpose is to disseminate best practice of science education. Science research grants has been awarded to best 30 research proposals of Indonesian science teachers and education personnel. To reach the goal of enhancing teachers and educational staff quality, SEAMEO has successfully established mutual collaboration and networking with other institutions nationally, regionally, and internationally. Capacity building activities are intended to increase the capability of SEAMEO staff. The last one is the Center Promotion and Publication, which proposes to increase public awareness toward SEAMEO.